We,
Sohnia
and Jaanuni, are a couple of pals studying science in undergrad. We are not professionals.
Though every episode is meticulously researched, mistakes do happen.
If you notice that anything,
And we mean anything,
we state is inaccurate, please let us know.
Your comments, suggestions, and queries are important in furthering our personal and audience's understanding of science.
Thanks for being a part of this discussion.
We appreciate you.
We really do.
Bop bop, beep bop bop. Hello everyone.
Hi,
Welcome back to another episode of Beaker Bros.
where we drink out of beakers.
Because we're bros.
I have no beverage here.
I actually have quite a fun drink today. So I have the iced coffee, the cold brew that you can get from Costco, the Starbucks one.
Yeah.
So I have that. I mixed it with a chai tea syrup.
Oh!
A tea syrup.
Yeah.
I just angered my ancestors there.
Okay.
But it has different spices and whatnot, so I mix that all together, and it's a fun iced coffee beverage that I have going on. It's very good, yeah.
What is the milk?
Oat milk.
Oh.
Oat milk, yeah.
Fun fact, guys, Sonia's no longer a vegan.
No, I'm not. I've devoured copious amounts of cheese within the past few weeks, but that's okay.
How's
Live,
the
laugh,
stomach
love.
doing?
Shambles. It's it's not doing well. But yeah, I'm happy.
Okay, I'm happy that you're happy.
Okay, well-
Anyways, Sonia, what else have you been up to in the past couple of weeks?
What have I been up to? I recently came back from a little bit of a solo travel trip that I did
A
to.
solo travel trip?
Jaanuni, please. I'm trying to formulate a thought. I went to BC. I went to Vancouver, Squamish, which is like an hour north of Vancouver. Then I went to Vancouver Island and went to Nanaimo, Tofino, or I don't know how to pronounce
Tofino?
it. Tofino?
Yeah.
And then Victoria for a night, and then I came back home.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, solo travel. Like, what made you decide, I'm gonna do that by myself?
Back at the beginning of... That's a whole backstory.
Okay.
So, back at the beginning of first semester, I dropped out. Fun
Yes.
fact for our audience members. And that's because I had some sort of fixation to find myself in the mountains. So, dropped out, wasn't able to go to the mountains for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
That's another story for another day. Anyways.
Yes.
So, I wasn't able to go, but fast forward 4 years, we're ending school. I realized I have a month to spare before I got to start work and all that fun stuff. So I said, hey, you know what? It's like $40 to go across the country to fly. And then renting a car was expensive, but everything else about it was cheap. So I was like, why not? I can do a relatively cheap trip for a week. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So I was able to go to the mountains. I did a lot of driving, a lot of road tripping, but yeah, so I went. It was very fun. My journal, as I've mentioned, was popping off that week. I did a lot of reflecting.
Damn.
It was a very good mental health week, a
I like
lovely
that.
little break.
I like that.
And now we're doing it again next week.
Yeah, she's running it back.
Heck yeah.
I think that's a really important thing you bring up, though, like, for just mental health. That kind of goes on to, like, there's a lot of, like, mental health benefits that's associated with solo traveling. Like, I know we all know, like, the whole, like, yeah, you get to really connect with yourself. But, like, I even know someone who did solo traveling, too. And then, like, just hearing stories of, like, meeting people and just hearing, like, especially, like, in Van, like, I'm pretty sure there was, like, international students or, like, not even students, but, like, people from different countries that came to Van to travel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For that, like, when the individual you're talking about, we ended up meeting this group of international students that came from literally all around the world. Vietnam, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, just like from literally everywhere. So met people from there, and then when I was in Nanaimo, I met these German international students, and we ended up road tripping across the island to Tofino and had a burrito and watched the sun set and did all that sort of fun stuff, which I would have never been able to do if I didn't go by myself.
Exactly, because I feel like when you go with someone, like, not saying that's like a hassle, but like you guys have an itinerary and you're like,
yeah,
there's like that, you're like, okay, that itself is like social interaction, but it's something like, it's really beautiful to like interact with people all over the place and like seeing people come wherever, like meet at a place or something, and everyone's traveling by themselves, but like no one's just selfishly, oh, I'm just going to do everything by myself. It's like giving the opportunity to interact with other people too and kind of hear like what brought you here, and it was kind of like interesting to hear that side. And I mean, there's also the whole of like really stepping out of your comfort zone. I think with solo traveling, from what I've gathered, because you're putting yourself in like an uncomfortable like position and just being like, even there's like a moment where you're like, damn, what am I doing here, like by myself? Right? But then you kind of submerge yourself into like just doing it, and I think there's something awesome about that.
Yeah, like one thing I very much realized when I was traveling, even though I was only gone for a week, and there was definitely moments of being like uncomfortable in a foreign environment, even though I'm still in Canada, everyone still speaks English, blah blah blah. It made me think like all the people that I met, they all came from different countries, and they're all going to be here either for like months or years on end. So the momentary discomfort that I was feeling, just, you know, not being at home, not being in an environment I recognize, pales in comparison to what other people were experiencing. Like, it made me appreciate or respect people so much more that are like coming from places that like it's just being in a new environment's a lot, and people that are able to do that for months on end, years on end, it takes a certain level of courage.
For sure. And I also think it's also like a component of like, it builds your confidence, I think, too, like being able to like solo travel and stuff. Like at first the idea of itself can be like quite intimidating. I mean, like at least with our programs that we're going into September, there's
Yay!
there's a component of like exchange for like at least my stream of my program, and I remember being like so excited about it, but then I really thought about it and I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually going to be by myself for 4 months, by myself in a country that I know absolutely no one. I'm not even going to be able to come back for a break or something. I'll just be there for 4 months, and I'm like, damn. That was at first, I'm like, damn, it's kind of like scary. Like, how am I supposed to figure everything out? Like, I don't even know if English is there. Like,
all people speak English in Norway, so you're
we're good.
Yep,
we're good.
You're good.
But yeah, it was like one of those, and just like so many like, oh, what ifs and stuff, and it's just like, wow. But I think there's like a thing. I think I like know at the end of the 4 months, it's gonna be like quite life changing in a sense. It's like, damn, like I did that.
You'll grow.
I'll grow.
I was only gone for a week, like I said, but like
that itself was enough.
Yeah, like I'm worldly now. Going to the other end of the country.
Damn,
wow.
by herself.
By myself.
There's definitely also been like, what's it called, a surge in like solo travels in the recent years. I know there's like this whole thing, people being like, oh, people who like solo travel are doing it because like they have no one else to go with. That's not the case. Like there's always people you can go with or whatever, but I think there's something, what was I gonna say? There was like, I should think, like there's a study where it was like, so the type of people who are more likely to solo travel versus those who go in a group. Because I know with me, like all my trips I've kind of planned recently, it's like people in a group. But there's one of them where it was like, so there's one study that looked, basically did surveys and like interviews where
qualitative studies, some would say.
One might say a qualitative. For our folks who don't know what that means, they're not really counting anything.
Well, I mean, you're still counting. You still have to meet like a certain threshold for sample sizes and stuff like that. But like, it's more so like, I guess that's what you're getting at. I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just.
Oh, I'll continue.
Keep going. So I was just like.
So basically, whenever you do like a sort of qualitative interview-based study, what they do is, so obviously like they transcribe everything that everyone says, they write it down verbatim, and then they take all of that back and they do something called coding, which for the reason why I'm laughing, I think Jaanuni just threw a leaf or something at a bee. Save the bees. But anyway.
It's a huge ass bee.
Yeah, it's a big bumblebee. Anyways, so what was I saying?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So they basically like transcribe everything that's said verbatim, like word for word. Then they take it back and they do something called coding. So it's not necessarily like doing like typing and numbers and stuff. They basically look for thematic similarities between each person's comments, and they develop, like they use terms that are associated or with everything that's said. So the coding is representative of everyone's ideas. So it could be like a word.
Things.
Yeah, they group the ideas all together, and the code represents a word or an idea that's similar across everyone's comments.
Okay. So then I guess with this study, what they're doing with the whole surveys and the written studies, where, so basically, I'm trying to add on to your thing, they were looking at around 3,000 households of and the members within the household. And
Oh, they did a survey.
they did a survey.
Was it written or like multiple choice? Because then it's not qualitative.
It was written.
Oh,
Yeah. Like
okay.
it was written survey and a written interview.
Oh, okay, then it
Your
is. Sorry.
your thing is still valid, yeah. So with that, they basically did that, and then what they kind of gathered is that basically, like, based on the results where it was given, that people who tend to travel, like, more, like, solo versus, like, not empathetic. I am jumping the gun with this. So people who are, like, traveling solo versus people who travel in a group tend to be more, like, empathetic, emotional, and imaginative versus those who are traveling in a group, like they have the tendency to travel in a group, are more like doers and lovers of material comfort, which is kind of interesting to see. But I think that kind of goes to your whole point of like, what was your point again?
Just like, I was talking about reflection and being by myself, and there's like a level of independence.
Or like the type of people like you kind of, or like confidence in like the type of people, or like how you grow as a person too.
Yes,
right?
and then you connected it to that.
Yes.
One
Good.
Yeah, one thing I was also gonna say, similar study. What was the name of that study, by the way?
I don't know the name.
Or like the people that conducted it. Where's it from? Oh, it's
How does
UCLA.
psychology of loneliness affect the desire to travel alone?
Okay, the different study. The study that I found was from Queensland University of Technology, so over in our Aussie folks.
Yeah.
Good day.
Back to our Aussie folks.
Yeah. So there's a study from the university, or Queensland University, and it was basically saying that the researchers found that, similar to what your findings were, that solo travelers don't necessarily go alone because they have to, or because of whatever. It's more of like the innate desire to see the world themselves. So, so basically the findings were that solo travelers were choosing freedom, uncompromised fun, and meeting new people over the desire to have a companion to share their experiences. Which, there's nothing wrong, obviously. Like, if you meet... Goddamn, why are we doing this outside? Anyways... what was I saying? Yeah, like, obviously, if you're able to find someone that matches your traveling style...
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Go enjoy the world with someone that you feel comfortable with. But if you feel comfortable going by yourself, all the power to you.
Yeah. No, I think there's also, like, from what I've gathered, like, traveling with someone, there's been many times where I've just been like, I just want to do this.
Yeah.
Or, like, I think it's also, like, type of personality where being, like, if it coincides, then great, you're having a great time. But if it's, like, two different person, like, type A versus type B, right? You're not going to have a great time, right?
Yeah.
Like, because one person might be wanting to be like, we have to do this, but someone's like, I just want to go with the flow, right? And I also think that's generally, like, the personality of solo travels, too.
Yeah,
being,
I was
like,
very much go with the flow.
Exactly, because you don't, like, wake up and you're like, I'm going to do this and this and this. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you have, like, an idea, yeah. Like, you're not going whatever, but it's also, like, if you see a cute, like, coffee shop, you're like, I'll go in there.
Yeah.
Right? And not being like, oh, we have 15 minutes to catch this or whatever. Like, you literally have all the time in the world and you don't have anyone waiting on for you.
I think that's so important, because from my experience, like, all you have when you solo travel is time. Like, there's... Obviously, like, you have to catch this bus or this ferry or this train ride at a certain time. But other than that, like, it's just you. And even if you didn't want to catch the ferry at that time and you wanted to let it go and you lose whatever $12 that happens, like, it is what it is.
It happens.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
What type of traveler are you? So if you go somewhere,
Yeah.
let's say you go to Vancouver, okay? Or Montreal or whatever.
Yeah.
What type of traveler are you? Or even if you can choose the destination.
Damn, I think, okay, like,
My foot's falling asleep.
oh, good morning.
Try to shake it. Anyways.
I'm gonna have a bunch of clips of us, the perks of us recording outdoors, and it just starts going,
Goddamn bees. Okay. Anyways.
sorry, I think, I'm generally, like, a type A person, but I'm not really a type A person. Like, I'm type A, but I'm not type A.
Yeah, like, I feel that.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I like things going my way,
Yeah.
but, like, I'm chill.
I'm chill. Like, I'm unbothered. I'm like, oh, okay. And I, like, kind of, like,
Yeah.
whatever. But I think, like, with me, if I were to, like, travel, especially I think solo, because that's something, like, I think about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my biggest things is, like, oh, no, safety-wise. Like, I got to know what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll probably do my research beforehand of, like, where I'm going, like, where I'm traveling, and, like, knowing the areas of, like, where to avoid and, like, what I should be doing or whatever. But, like, as for, like, what I want to be doing in a country or, like, in a city or whatever, like, I think I would just make a list of things and be, like, and every day just wake up in the morning and be like, what do I feel like doing?
Yeah.
Right? And just kind of going about like that, but having, like, an idea of what I want to do and at least have, like, research behind of, like, where I would be traveling, just for safety concerns, I think. Not more for, like, oh, because I need to know. It's just, like, I am a woman.
Yep. That's actually a really good point. I think we've been emphasizing the narrative that it's a lot of, like, freedom and blah, blah, blah. But, like, even though I was still traveling in Canada, I did a crap ton of research about BC and, like, even from a cultural perspective about, like, what I should be, like, what's inappropriate, what's not inappropriate, where should I not be going past 10 p.m. at night, what's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though.
I was going to say, yeah, then, like, especially, like, I think, okay, because we were in Canada, there's, like, the whole cultural thing, but, like, if you go to other countries, there is stuff where you have to be more culturally respectful and stuff, because I think there's, like, I remember, okay, back in, like, when we had Europe trips and, like, you're good.
I'm on a slant, my butt's slipping. Anyways, my shorts are riding up, we're okay.
Okay.
Every so often you just look at the camera. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, we had trips in, like, high school, like, of people going to Europe and stuff, and I remember those times where they're like, oh yeah, girls, you have to wear pants when you go to this city or something, right? And, like, at that time I was like, what the heck? That's oppression. Why would you tell us to wear pants? Wait, what if we wanted to wear shorts? Like, whatever. Yeah. But then, like, it was, like, more of the means, more for, like, respecting the culture and traditions of that city, of that, like, country or whatever, which I also think is really important to do research about before going hand. Just knowing that and just knowing how to be respectful, and also, like, just, like, the dangers of being a woman, because I mean, like, I would love to, I think the only thing that's stopping me of, like, from solo traveling is that I'm a prime target. Let's be real. I'm small, I'm easy to carry. It's gonna toss me over. Like, I mean, like, I'll put up a fight. Like, I think I would fight.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you can hold your ground.
I think, yeah. What is it? Grab, squeeze, twist.
Wait, there's the acronym grab. I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right in saying that, but isn't there an acronym?
I thought that was just it.
I thought there was, like, a word for everything, but you're right.
Yeah. I know that. We took self-defense, but there's also I just don't want to be a target. Like, can I just walk around with you guys being like, yes, her?
I mean, yes, that's definitely a concern, and you should always approach literally anywhere you go with a certain level of precaution, but there's also a fine line where you're like, if you have that narrative all your life, then you're not going to be able to see the world. Obviously, there's certain places you should never go.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, it's also really cool what's, like, when you go to do research about solo traveling and stuff and, like, what you should and shouldn't do, there's also a lot, like, kind of, what does it say? What's I'm trying to say? What's that word? Tailored towards, like, female solo travelers, like, tips and things for females more than there are for males, because I think there is also, like, females want to solo travel, here's the tips and tricks of, like, what to do, and I think that's also really cool of how many there's, like, blog posts and articles and just, like, caution stuff, right? And just, like, okay, thanks, like, that's helpful. That is. I was gonna go back to the whole thing where you're like, people who solo travel don't do it because, like, they have to, right? There's also a sense of, like, they want to, right? And I was gonna talk about like, people might have this idea, like, oh, the people who solo travel are just lonely, right? They're the ones that, because they have no one else to go with, they're doing by themselves. But there's actually a study that looked at the correlation between loneliness and the desire to travel. So basically, they're saying how respondents who didn't have a desire to travel, oh my god, there's something in my eye. This is great. This is really
just like one eye down. You still have another.
Okay, we're gonna keep going.
Do you want a tissue?
I'm good.
Okay. Oh, I've got to run to my car, but...
No, it's fine. We'll with the tears, clean this out. This is going to be part of our TikTok for sure. Okay.
It's like this.
It's just like... Okay, we're good. Okay, so basically this study looked at respondents who didn't have a desire to travel alone. A sense of shyness didn't play a major role in their willingness to participate in solo traveling. However, for the respondents who did have a desire to travel alone, there was concluded that a lack of sense of shyness did play a major role in their willingness to travel. So it's basically saying that they're not saying that, oh, less confident people aren't, like, willing to solo travel. It's more like those who do travel aren't shy. They're willing to, like, immerse themselves I say submerge themselves into a culture or whatever, and just kind of like interact with people. Like there is no sense of shyness of being like not like, I'm not saying a fear of social interactions, but a reluctant.
They have, I guess, like there's a certain threshold of extroversion that people that are comfortable with solo traveling have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was really cool to know, and I was just kind of bringing it back to the whole point of like people solo travel because they want to. Like you could have easily found someone to go on the trip with you, right? But it was a matter of like you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Very happy I did. I really hope that. Just punch this guy. God damn. But during the summer, do you have any intent of potentially solo traveling?
I think it's just more like a means of it's just like work-wise and planning around it. But if I do have the means and resources necessary to do so, I would love to, actually. I want to. But yeah, I think should really wrap up this episode, I think.
Yeah, I think, but anyways, that's about it.
Yeah. Go solo travel.
Yeah.
Go make connections, be more confident.
Meet some cool people.
Be uncomfortable.
Be uncomfortable. If you're always comfortable, then...
You're not learning. You're not growing.
No, you're not. Amen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning into another episode of Beaker Bros, as we are outside for once.
Yep. I don't know if we'll do it again. There's a lot of bugs.
There's a lot of bugs. But maybe. Who knows?
That's it.
Bye.
Bye.